Ever heard of the acquisition and maintenance of power? That's what is the reality of our world. I did vote, but I will say I don't entirely trust the person I voted for. But I do believe my choice is the better of the two. I don't trust any of them. Kind of people that are inevitably running this country are the people with money. That's always the way it's going to be. We have to have the money to do things. The power is in the money, or at least in the wealth of the country. There is no point in us bickering over who's right and who's wrong. I have noticed that all media, right or left, is stirring up our emotions in a way reminiscent of stirring a cesspool or basically something along them lines where all the smell comes to the surface. Well, I meant to say septic. And if you stir that, if you don't have an automatic steering wand like a lot of them do, it gets to be a nasty business when it has to be cleaned. That's basically what's been going on. Our emotions are being stirred. The reek is coming to the surface. And it's going to take forever and a day for it to dissipate if it ever does. I suspect it will be in the best interest of the people that are controlling us to keep it stirred constantly. Stir up the right, stir up the left. One side is guilty of something, the other side is guilty of the other. There is no point to any of this other than our inevitable slavery, the continuance of the slavery we have now, the fact that so many people are driven by these things is evidence of the slavery. We're listening to narratives. We're not thinking. We like to pretend we're thinking for ourselves, but we're not. We rarely ever do think for ourselves. It's easier for somebody else to do the hard work. Anyone who genuinely does think for themselves pretty much stands alone. I'm guilty too of letting myself ride in neutral. I'm a boat with a sail. I rarely ever put my hands on the ropes and work the wind, put the sweat in to keep the boat going the way I want or where I think it should go. Most folks don't want to do this. They don't want to think. They pay other people to think. They watch people on television that are paid to think for them, to find the information for them, put it together into a workable format, and then tell them what for. I do not trust any of the mainstream media. I have not trusted them, quite frankly, since 1988-89, when I heard CNN clearly lie through their teeth about something concerning East Germany, which to this day I do not remember what it was, but I remember sitting there thinking that is a bunch of BS, because I knew better. I was fascinated with the Soviet Union at the time in Eastern Europe, and I read about it, and I've read accounts of people who were there, who got out, and I can't remember what they said to this day. I know it was about East Germany. I remember sitting there. I used to always watch CNN back in the 80s if I watched news at all, and when I heard that, I was kind of done. I mean, like, how could they sit there and just say that? That either means that they were sloppy in their journalism or they were lying. It meant one or the other. Either or, it's a form of incompetence in their responsibility. This sort of thing is snowballed today. But even the right wing news, Fox News, is worthless. The business news is a dream world of watching the numbers bounce up and down. One America News I like a lot, or used to. Now they're starting to go down the same rail as Fox. Newsmax I rather liked, but now they're sort of moving into that stale boorishness that One America News used to inhabit. Can't trust the internet. You gotta work for it. You gotta look it up. You gotta get pros and cons. You gotta find out who's actually lived in these places, who's actually been a part of this phenomenon, the politics, the whatever. Sometimes you just gotta look at what people say and what they do. That's what you gotta do. Listen less to what they say, watch what they do. In the end, it's all about the acquisition and maintenance of power. You gain power, you hold on to it, you gain more. It's a vicious cycle, keeps going and going and going. You want more, more, more. It's an addiction to the people that have it. I didn't want to get on here and talk politics at all, ever. I wanted to get away from it and make this a bastion of quiet. It's impossible. This nonsense has invaded our lives. It's no longer a question of are you one of them people that sits in front of the TV set watching, the crap on the news. Everybody is immersed in it. Everybody is taking a side. Even the people that wouldn't have cared about this that I grew up with 20 or 30 years ago, they might have threw a few opinions around, act like they knew what they were talking about, and then who cares afterward. Now it's something that hangs around our necks like a lead weight, like the chains of slavery. We've become politically driven, like horses pulling a wagon, and that's what we are. Thanks for listening.